All right, welcome to the heart of the community with Jew and Jay Buchanan, if we dare say our last name. I'm Jay. This is my
And
brother.
I'm Jew with my brother.
All right. So we just gonna give a brief piece of information regarding us so you can understand what the podcast is about. I am the older, much more handsome brother that is 40. I'll be 41 next month. Thank God for life. And this is my baby brother, which I hate to call him my baby brother because he is bigger than me. Even though we look like we the same, he's way bigger than me. But he is the youngest, but I always say he is the one that saved our family emotionally and spiritually. Brief thing about me, or a couple things about me. We're both, of course, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I grew up loving music at a very early age, 6. I knew I wanted to do music. We'll get to some of my industry stories, work with some of those A-list CEOs and artists. But as I traveled throughout life, long story short, with the woes of our dad and my mom, because we don't share the same mother, even though our mothers are our mothers. I went through a lot of anger issues and much more with myself, my dad, and the world. And I had no idea as I got older that I would actually be teaching and helping kids, even though I feel like God had been showing me small examples my whole life. But me and my brother didn't like me for a long time because he thought I forsake him. But it was just my issues that I had with my dad, that our dad, that I hadn't cleared up yet. And our dad ain't the type of person where you can just be beefing with him and just walk in his house and I'm coming to see my little brother. Like, it don't work like that. Stuff out the pop. But
Mm.
as me and Jew got our relationship right, Jew was going to high school, to college, and I'll let him tell his story. But we really worked on our relationship, and he's a certified therapist. I have to say that part because it's important. He is my person that I go to when I need a translation. What does this mean? What is this person saying? He is the first person in my life that's given me options in every scenario and allowed me to be the type of emotional person that I wanted to be in that moment without holding it against me or bringing it up again. So he's always my go-to. We have the dopest relationship, like literally my best friend, talk to him every day. And we wanted to put this together because I feel like he's needed for the world in a sense where I can't help people, he can. Of course, he's going to help them first, but I have a way that I communicate to people too. And a lot of the new me that people see, it's not me as much as it is him rubbing off on me. If you know me, I didn't have a lot of patience at all, right? So the patience that you see now, I owe it to him, giving me these options. You know, you can do it this way, this way, this way. And for those of you that love music, you know, music is all about options. It's all about imagination. It's not about a gray area. It's about understanding what you're doing as far as contracts go. But then when you go to the music, there's tons of gray area, right? I want to get that right, right? It is not one way to do things. I always say it's not one way to get in the house. You got the front door, the back door, the side door, the attic, the basement, right? But the
The
way that we're taught,
window.
the windows, right? But we're just taught to just do things one way, right? And I learned from him. We're taught to place the blame on people. It's my fault or your fault, right? I'm learning all of these things that I didn't know because, you know, a lot of our parents were raising us the way that they were raising. They did the best, and some of them weren't looking for options. They were just looking to answer and to say, I told you so. Or, you know, you better do what I said because I said so. No context. Right. So a little bit about me. What about you, Drew?
So first, I couldn't let my brother just come on here and lie to y'all like that, talking about the most handsome one. Can y'all believe this, this flabbergaster? Nah, but being the youngest, my brother said he dealt with anger issues growing up. I think I dealt with the feeling of abandonment issues and lack of lack of critical thinking, lack of accountability, I would say. I did have responsibility. I knew how to be responsible, but I didn't know how to be accountable. Um, we'll probably get into that, the difference between the two throughout our sessions. Heart of the community, man. We're gonna be talking, we're gonna be getting deep. But growing up, it was like the word he said forsook was probably the perfect word. Like I felt like everybody in my family didn't fuck with me. Like it was, it felt like I was kept at a distance for a reason. And it was like I had like my big cousin Mel, big cousin Rick come around, shouts out to them. We got sister Quanisha, she had come around like, every holiday and things like that. And, that was dope. Me and Courtney, you know how it is with siblings, you don't get along all the time growing up. And I was
Shouts
a
out to
little chunk.
Courtney. She's a baby
Yeah,
sister.
this hey man, don't get this guy. No, shouts out to my sis, man. I love her. We grown so much, but yeah, growing up it was like I felt alone. I had my best friend Walter, Naji, you know what I'm saying? A lot of James had Mar, Trev, they Aaron, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we ended up having people outside the family become family. So family doesn't always mean blood to us. So for me, I went play football, sports. I had all my teammates, but going home, it felt lonely. You feel me? So when I always had a fear of abandonment, so I always beat people to the punch. You know, I used to cheat. You know what I'm saying? It was a very lacking self-love thing. Had to fill myself up somehow, some way, whether it was football, whether it was other people, whether it was something. And it was even crazy because even then I still didn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I was just punishing myself because I felt like I deserved it. And it was crazy because James say I brought him patience and things like that. But all praises to the Most High Yahweh. Having my brother, he taught me how to be decisive. He taught me that, like, bro, I don't have a choice in being a leader. Like, he made me redefine what it means to be a leader. Like, people think being a leader is a choice. It's just not choosing to follow. That's all the leader is. And um, I always chose not to follow, whether it was me seeking for attention on my own way or whatever, it was getting in trouble, getting kicked out the class. I wasn't the worst kid, you know what I'm saying? But I was a little rambunctious. And and like, James said, I got my degree and it was a path that I never thought I
What
would take.
degree do you have? Don't just try to skip over that. What degree do you have?
Look at him being a big brother. I got my bachelor's in psychology and I got my master's in social work. Thank you. Let me get
Yo, I
myself
have
up.
to. I gotta stop you here on purpose because this is important. Because I don't know anybody on this side of our family that has their master's. And if I'm wrong, please correct me, and I will mention it in the next podcast. But it's a big thing, especially for me because I hated school. There was no way I was going to get a master's. Like we can go back to the day and say, well, if you started over, wouldn't happen, right? So
Wouldn't happen.
wouldn't happen. I know it. I knew I wanted to do music, and there was not going to be a master's that came along with that. Nevertheless, I just think that that's dope. Like you have your masters, and can you show them your arm? Like, can you flex a little bit?
I got a little,
We
what I'm
can still see
saying?
it through there. Yeah,
I
don't.
got a
I knew
little
you was gonna say that.
thing.
Don't worry about that. So I wanna shout my brother out too because the way that we're built physically, we're supposed to be playing football, right? Our dad played football. I'm quite sure he would have went to the league, and he'll tell you his mental, women, and then I think he had a racist coach. There was a lot of things that affected our dad mentally that didn't allow him to go to the league. Nevertheless, we're gonna show a picture of him too, but he's clearly built like a football player. And I'm the only one in the family that never played football. But Jewel was due to play football, which he did play in college, but then go to the league, NFL, when I say the league. But I told him what he's doing right now with therapy and helping people out, you're changing more lives directly than I personally, as an older brother, feel like you would have if you were in the NFL. And this is no knock, but with me even being in the class with the kids as opposed to maybe performing with 10,000 people or whatever, I feel like directly I am touching more people being that they're able to reach me literally individually. So my bad. I know you were getting towards your college. I'm not saying my bad. I'm
I'm
saying go
not
ahead and
big though.
finish because I meant to cut you off.
Good, because that was really helpful what you added. And something that I think you said too is, I do agree. Like maybe for somebody else, they would have be able to reach more people if they was in NFL. But I think for me personally, like I've always felt like, we got to start with our community to change the world first, right? So I personally always felt like what it needs to change the community is therapy and financial freedom. But you can't just have financial freedom if you're not mentally free. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying? So
that
it's
is.
like, even think about us, James. Remember how the first thing that we started talking about getting control was buying the shoes? Like, think about how we started there, bro. Before we started talking about patience, nigga was like, bro, I ain't trying to I ain't like, y'all, he used to get fresh every other weekend, damn near. It felt like, bro, he got, if y'all could see y'all see the plant, he got shoes that stack up to there.
They all get
Big,
me robbed.
that, yeah, nobody know where this nigga lives. Shout out Ethan.
He know where they at. But no, to your point, it did start with that. I didn't even think about that. That's good. That's dope that you brought that up. Uh, and you know what? I'll dig to this. I'll go here. Remind me if I forget that. Shouts out our brother Chris. But I want to talk about that phrase that we use where we say we going to the same home, but we taking different routes, right?
Yeah.
But with my shoes, so a lot of men don't understand. There might be women here too, but I'm gonna speak for the people I know. A lot of us, where this shoe addiction comes from, I see some men talking about it, but they're not digging to the real root of the cause. We're getting a lot of these shoes because a lot of us couldn't afford them when we were coming up. So what happens is it becomes an addiction. You start getting everything that you couldn't get as a kid, right? I'm speaking generally. Now, for me, I've been getting shoes since I was 14 years old because moms and pops wasn't paying $100 for no J's. So I was like, I'm gonna get a job. So they was like, where you going? Moms was like, where you gonna get a job at? On the job sweeping here. Right. So I started to get fresh back then. And there was still some shoes I couldn't afford. So I started to, that was where I found my zone where I'm like, I can spend this money on these shoes. I'm not getting every Jordan, but I am gonna get every Air Max. I can afford these. I love the air bubble. That affects the price difference for me. So a lot of people don't understand this too. When I became a husband, not even just a husband, but a father, I personally felt like it wasn't about me no more. It was about my wife. It was about my kids. So if you look back at old pictures of me, I'm wearing like Dunks, Aeropostale shoes, American Eagle shoes. Like I'm finding the cheapest shoes that I can get fresh in. And Ethan had the KD. Ethan had, you know what I mean? It was like I literally forgot myself. And then once I
Mm-hmm.
literally started to be like, yo, as a man, forget being a husband, forget being a dad. James, what do you like? And that was the thing. Like before me and you got back cool or got cool, it was I love
Got
we talk
cool.
about that too. But yeah, but but my wife, she act like, oh man, it's crazy you got this addiction at a point. She don't do this anymore. But I was like, when you met me in high school, I was fly. I was like, don't forget at Summerfest when you met me, I had to because I worked at Gap in high school, right? I had the sky blue, the powder blue Gap polo with the dark jeans and them Air Max 95s, all white with the blue air bubble. I was like, don't act like I wasn't on this when you met me. I just stopped
Yeah.
when it was about family. But I want people to understand that for some people are hype beasts and they get shoes because it makes them feel a certain way when other people are around. But I'm the type of person for shoes, I'm looking at my shoes in meetings. That's how much I like my shoes. Like I ain't looking at everybody else. Like I'm like, oh man, these is hard, right? Like since you brought it up, can we?
Can't
Y'all,
even see him. Can't even see him. I damn him
yeah,
think them flights. Them
shoe
damn near
heads, y'all
flights
know
you
it.
got on.
Shoe heads, y'all know what these is. Y'all know the bottom. Y'all can tell by the bottom. But getting
They
back to the point.
12s. They
Hey, there you
12s.
go. See, he's shoe head.
Yeah, yeah.
But look, so and I'm gonna let you take it from here. But shout out to our brother Chris because part of the reason me and Jew got cool, and I say got cool because we have a huge age difference. So when I'm like, how old am I?
Huge.
30, how old are you?
You-
26, right? 14 years. So when I was 20, you was 6, right?
Huge. Yeah.
So there was a time where I was around him and he felt like I wasn't, or he felt like I wasn't, but it wasn't like I was there he thought I lived in the city and I just wasn't rocking with it. I lived in a whole nother state, right? And he didn't know this at a young age. But anyway, when he started to ask questions about our brother Chris, and I answered, but for so long, because I was like, hey, it's not fair. This is the type of person I am. I ain't doing it just because it's my brother Chris or just because it's you. I'm like, I can't tell these stories about him without him saying his side. I don't think it's fair, right? So we got on the FaceTimes again. Y'all see why I give credit to Drew. He made it to where it was an environment to where all of the siblings got on the FaceTime, right? And Chris was able to say his side of the story, and we had a dope talk, right? Now, the dope thing about understanding that is I'm the oldest, then it's Chris, then the long drop for Drew. We all pretty much have the same outcome of things, but we all say it differently, right? So we always say, hey, we're going to like normally people don't do this when you're talking. You go so hard with trying to get your point across, you forget that y'all are saying the same thing, right? And what we say in our crew or as our brothers, we say, hey, we going to the same house, different route, right? And we going to dad's house, we going to mom's house, parents' house, but I'm taking capital. You taking, I'm not gonna
Hampton.
stay in the streets because I'm a little paranoid with that. They gonna figure out where he stay. Like
These niggas ain't that smart to triangulate the
see, you know
coordinate.
what? See, and then after you doubt them and they figure it out. But as we'll talk about it, I have huge paranoia from where I grew up at. And we both dealt with our near death experiences. I'm gonna say this and shut up. I was talking to our dad about the many times that I've almost been killed, being where I was supposed to be. I wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And it just went left. And this hasn't just been in Milwaukee. And our dad was like, man, I couldn't imagine. I ain't been through that many. That's a lot. And I'm like, that was my life. Right. Now, Jew, I know we were talking about like our self value and our self worth. And it was crazy because I remember you saying, Dad even told me how self confident he thought you were. He was like, man, the girls liked him. He played sports. I thought everything was fine. And I'm gonna say this and shut up for real. I think this is where me and you meet the most because even though it was just me and my mom when I would leave dad's house and I would go home, shouts out to TJ and Lila and Pop and VA. Before all of that, it was just me and mom. You were in a house with shouts out to moms and pops, and moms. We're gonna get that margarita next time we get up. You was in the house with moms and pops, but you still felt like I did, and I think that's where we connected the most. It's like I used to somewhat be jealous of you. I'm like, you got both your parents in the household, and I got one. And then shouts out to my wife's mom. She was like, everybody don't it's not what you think. Everybody don't live the same. Everybody don't live as different as you think they do. Even though you just had one parent, he got two, that don't mean he don't feel like you. That's just rhyme. I should be a rapper. That's how I feel like we connected the most. My bad. Go ahead.
Nah, you was talking a lot of good shit. I just want the whoever watches this to recall back. This is how old this nigga is. He called his brothers his crew. He had to catch himself. He said, people, me and my crew. Whoa, get your slow
What do
80s
you say?
breakdancing ass down.
What do y'all say? My boys?
My brothers, my gang, my guys.
Oh, okay. So I don't say gang because I am 40, right? I don't do
Yeah.
gang, right? And I don't say what was the other one you said?
Crew sound like y'all do this shit after y'all after y'all shake hands.
Hey, you know what? This is where he wins. I don't have nothing for that. I don't have nothing. I mean, I do, but I ain't gonna say it while we recording. He got it. You got it. I'm crying on that one.
Hey, see, that's why I'm baby brother. You know what I'm saying? We get to be a little bit more reckless. He got responsibilities, and they got a son.
Sue, don't forget my
You
my
got
G.
two. You do. Oh, bro. Oh, okay. It's funny, man, because going back to what you said about the two-parent household thing, you see how you didn't mention Courtney? that's how it felt. Like you just forget about the other sibling in the household. You said you grew up with mom, shout out moms, we got to get that margarita, and pops, and then you moved on from there.
Oh, I was just talking about. I get what you're saying, but I was just talking about parents because
Oh, okay.
I didn't have a sibling at that point. Like TJ and Lila weren't even thought of being. They weren't moms and pops weren't married. I'm sorry when I say moms and pops, y'all. I'm talking about my mother and my stepfather because I hate saying step parents and in laws. So for me, comparing myself to you as a kid at 8 years old, it's just
I
me.
got you.
Yeah, just me and my mom. For you, it was just you. Courtney was there, right? As he always say, Courtney, I always let her slide because she baby sister. I never do
That's
that
why I
for you.
threw it out there.
Nope, that wasn't one of them times.
I
Nope.
get you. You right. You got it. So it was like this too. Yeah, we like don't let my parents tell a lot. Don't let me tell a lot. We had good Christmases. It was good on holidays. You know how dad get. He gonna have him a good Christmas. He gonna have him a good holiday. He gonna have him a good birthday. But I would trade those days in for like the day to day. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And that day to day was so distant. It was like the only time I would really get good conversation or talking to my parents is if I got in trouble at school. Because from 7 in the morning, and don't I'm about to get on the soapbox real quick, y'all, because fuck the government, because they set it up like this where the parents can't be with the children all day, and this is
Mm-hmm.
what causes and what happens. But I digress.
Oh
So
no,
if
no, no! I gotta stop you there because I got a question. This is what the show. This is what the podcast for. So do we do we just speak about the government? Because with that said, you know me, anybody that know me know I've been like this. I never wanted to be the type of guy that's not available for my children when they need me. Right.
Mhm.
So where does and I'm not saying this as if I feel this way. I'm just asking the question. Where does the responsibility come for the parents to say, look, I don't want to live life like this? Right. And I know everybody doesn't have that information. Right. But when is it up to them? Because you hear so many adults complain every day, oh, I hate this place. I hate this place. I'm the type of person to be like, why don't you leave then? Like, why do you keep talking about this? And this is not to say that you can't vent around me, but okay, where is the solution at for this? How do you want, I can
That's
put
where it
it
goes to
David.
mental freedom.
Go
People
ahead,
aren't mentally
expound.
free. So people aren't mentally free because people aren't mentally free because the government keeps positions enclosed. So you will see how many times people will apply for a job or reach out for a job application. They get it, but then never hear from the job again. They call them phantom jobs. So it's like you got people who are trying to find another job within their job. So you do have people that are trying, but then I think there's also the part that we're forgetting that not everybody has a talent that they're aware of is tangible or that they can make money off of or that they can pour into. You know
That's
what I
where I
mean?
come in.
And that's where you come, the trailblazer. That's what I wanted to say earlier that you was like, you're the trailblazer of the family. Like, dude, this for me, I probably wouldn't have did this shit for probably another 3, 4 years. I probably wouldn't have did TikToks if it wasn't for my brother. I probably I was starting to do videos and stuff, and he like, bro, why don't you put this on YouTube and things like that? And I'm like, cause I just make them for fun. And he like, okay, make them for fun and put them on YouTube. And I'm like, that makes sense to me. And then I started doing these TikToks during the COVID, and I started getting a lot of followers. And my brother was just like, see, yeah, and I did start getting paid from it too. You know, you nigga will not let me lay that down, boy. I came down to visit him, boy. That nigga, as soon as I got out the airport, that nigga said, "So you getting TikTok money, huh?"
No, that's not. He telling the story wrong. We went to Macy's to get something to OG. So I talked to my sister OG. We went to Macy's so he could get
I
his
told the
girl
short
something.
version.
Yeah, he left that's that context I was telling y'all. He left it out. He acting like his dad. So look, we go to Macy's. So he trying to, we're all like this. We want the cheapest. I don't care if I got the money. I want to pay for the same thing and I want to get it as cheap as I can. I don't care how you feel about me about that. So I'm sitting there watching him do it, and I'm like, yeah, it's about right. And so he trying to decide whether how he gonna pay for it, right? Like I'm gonna do cash, I'm gonna do credit, and then it's like the light bulb pop up. oh, I got that TikTok money. Wait, what? Hold on. Wait, what? You getting TikTok money? Now, mind you, we had been talking about like YouTube monetization, streaming, stuff that will make this conversation for him to come up. TikTok. Oh yeah, I got TikTok. I had even got a Facebook check, and I told. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting here trying to figure stuff out, how to get this bread. Oh, bro, I ain't tell you. No, you ain't tell me.
Forgot because that's them football hits. I be trying to tell this nigga he don't be listening.
Yeah. All right. Go
That's
ahead,
why
finish the story.
so listen, yo, whenever y'all hear wisdom spew on my mouth, it's all praises to the Most High. I don't never take credit for it, but this nigga gonna always tell me you gotta take some credit for it. Nigga, I don't remember what I said. So, but going back to trailblazing, we was talking about parents in the household. There we go. So the forsakenness, that's what it was. It felt like because, and this is damn. This was everybody but damn near me and Courtney. They didn't have both parents in the household. Like, can you think of one of our cousins that grew up with both parents? Or one of our aunties or uncles?
Well, you could say Anthony, rest in peace, Angelo. You could say, yeah, you could say
We could
Sheila.
say they did.
Because
Okay, so
Tony was definitely around.
yeah,
Tony
you
was
100. I guess I was thinking of Milwaukee. So
Yeah.
I
Oh,
completely
because they left. Yeah. See, they left
yeah.
Milwaukee. Okay, so here's the dope part about that. Sorry, y'all. We it's some family stuff we going through. Shout out to Aunt Sheila, Uncle Tony, and the whole family. But since they were in Milwaukee before you were born, like I didn't see it in the sense of being in the house with them because I think at the time they were broke up because Sheila used to live in Maryland, right? So
I didn't know that.
yeah, this was long before you was born. So but Tony was always around, like long before they got married. Like Tony's always been around. So I can't say if we're saying we never saw it on Pop's side, I can say I saw it there. I did see
Okay,
it.
so you can say that
Yeah,
because they was in Memphis.
right.
So I wasn't, but you're right about them.
We're gonna cut that part out.
Hell no.
Okay.
Okay.
He said, hell no. Okay, get to go to your point. We got like 15 minutes.
I completely forgot about that. Oh, dog, you're hilarious,
Because
James.
that was before you was born too. So
See, I only know of that's all I
oh
know.
yeah, see, you know what? I think that's the dope part about this because you said this when we were in practice, we were practicing, but now like live, I want this to be understood. We have different eras of the same people. So the way that
Good
I
way to
know
say that.
our dad, the way that I know our dad, he knows them a totally different way. Same man, but growth. Yes, sir.
I gotta cut you off because this is actually a psychology thing that I do with families. This is called narrative therapy. That we all live the same life, the same existence, but we have different narratives of the context or different conversations. And so when we're trying to solve conflict, we don't focus on what I say versus you say. We focus on what can we do to move forward. Sorry, that's I just want to add that
No,
in
that's
there
dope.
because
I'm acting OCD like Pops again because I'm trying to make sure my enough.
hey, like you
That's
good,
different.
brother.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's right.
we at the same. We damn near on the
Right,
couch together.
right. So, but yeah, so we have different narratives. So, this is the funniest to me. Uh, Me and our dad, we went through our bouts, and shouts out to my wife. She was like, "You need to talk to him and just have a man to man about all the things he's done, hurt you, blah blah blah." We had to talk. Dad, it was a very manly talk. Dad apologized. I broke down. All of that. It was one of the most important conversations to have in life. Now, after that, I was still very nervous around my dad. Like, and I don't mean like in a sense of scared, but I just hadn't been around him long enough to be familiar with his ways. I just always thought he was picking with me and taking it personal rather than understanding this is just who he is and how he wants things. So when I would start coming around, he would tell me to come over, stay with him, and I'm like, all right, like, it was a little resistance there. But Julius was there in high school. So I never forget this moment. I know my dad, right? But this was just different. So Pops is like, hey, do you want the air mattress? And I'm like, nah, I sleep on the floor. As long as my wife and my kids good, I'll sleep on the floor. So he was like, James, I mean, my dad is really trying, and I'm not being a good kid in response. So I finally say, you know what, I'll take that. All right, Pop, I'll take it. So Julie is listening to the whole thing, and he like, I'm gonna tell him you don't want it. I'm like, this ain't the time to play. Like, and mind you, I don't know how to have a little brother like this, right? Like in the house. So dad goes downstairs to the basement to get the air mattress. He come up, and I literally told you, I said, when you say that, I know how our dad is when he irritated or he mad. He starts off with the phrase, I mean. Like, I mean, what you gonna do? Like, I mean, it's always that. So he brings the air mattress to, I'm in Julius' room talking. He brings it, and Julius meets him at the door, and he's like, James said he don't want the air mattress.
Hey, door half closed. Like I'm
So of course our dad response is, I mean, James, what you? I'm looking at you like, dude, and he's just like he is right now. He's just sitting there laughing, and I think at that moment I realized, and it was another time where I told my wife not to do something, and my dad like, he's like, what you telling her that for? I'm like, this is what you used to do with me, right? And Julius had to inform me, dad is not like that anymore. So now this is my, at that time, 30-year-old self, 30-something-year-old self. He's in high school, and I'm looking at our dad in the way that I saw him when I was in high school, which was a long, long time ago, right? He's looking at dad now in which a way I haven't saw him. So I'm still, and this is how we are with relationships. Like, we're holding people to the way that they used to be 10, 20 years ago, and we're responsive the same way that we were. We're not allowing any growth, any change. And I did that with my own dad. A lot of people say, their dad wasn't in their life and they point the finger at their dad, but sometimes we're just not good children. Like we're being very resistant and reluctant to being open to anything with our parents. So it was a funny
hey,
story, but
y'all don't know how far he done came for that. And he used to be like, quit taking dad's side. Hey, then I'll agree with his son. He was like, quit taking his side. Like, hey, I always be on your side. What you mean?
ain't enough. Not enough.
Hey, and it's funny that this is a full circle moment because back to narrative there. Like from the outside looking in, even my friend Walter, he thought it was like sweet because dad had a nice car, we had a nice house, and it was like nice. And it's like, yeah, we ain't looking at the other side of this nice stuff though. And it's like like, dude, I remember, and this is probably what it was like for a lot of kids. Like that's why I always say I grew up at my grandparents' house. I didn't grow up at my house because I would wake up, let's say 6:30
Hey,
a.m.
let me
What
cut you
up?
off. This is dad calling right now.
You're lying.
Hold on,
That's
I'm gonna
crazy.
put him on speaker. OG, I'm doing a podcast with Drew right now. We just talking about you. That's God, man. Okay, cool.
Can you
I
hear?
love you. You can't hear?
Uh-uh.
That's too bad. All right, thank you so much.
See, this is what I missed growing up. This is what I needed. Oh, so yeah, from the outside looking in, it looked good, but like I grew oh yeah, so sleeping. I would sleep 6:30, wake up, be out of school by like 7:45. I'm at school from 7:45 to like what 3:30. Then I'll my granddad, if y'all grew up with me, y'all know about him. He used to come down the street hollering, y'all. Y'all got no clue. I'm talking about y'all watch the Boondocks. He was really him. Granddad's so funny. We call that man Herschel, like, and that's his real name. And me and James just be laughing, bro. He got Herschel coming. he used to he used to walk down the street. Joyous, it's time to bring hey. Anybody say like dog, I'm talking about he's going to teacher to teacher. So everybody knew me at school. So then I'll be trying to like hide and have fun after school. Nope. So now I gotta go to my grandparents' house. I'm there from like 4 to like 7:30. Don't let me have basketball practice or football or something. And then I'm really not home. And then the most time I get is probably food on the way home and then homework and then sleep. Like I didn't really talk to them.
Shouts out to grandparents. I got a quick question for
Yeah,
you, and then we can wrap it up. Uh,
yeah, for sure. That's a good
uh,
session. 45
yeah, it
minutes.
is. It is. My question to you is, with grandparents, as a kid, when you're at your grandparents' house as much as you were, did you ever think about not being at home? Like, were you just in the zone of your grandparents, or like, because we were talking about abandonment issues, and that's normally, even when I was coming up, that's the thing to do. Like, you going to your grandma's house, right? I love shouts out Grandma Cookie. Like, I love going to my grandma's house, except she ain't had no cable. But other than that, like, but you don't think about how, like, you look at that as home. But like, did you look at that as a kid? Like, man, where my parents at? Or was it just,
Yeah. It was
oh, you
like,
did?
damn. Yeah, that's just it's crazy because I'm starting to tear up thinking about it because it was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, nigga, I want to be home.
Mm.
I don't know. It didn't feel like I know my parents probably didn't see it as this, but it was just like, damn, nigga, y'all doing everything, and I don't know how to put it into words. It's like,
I know how you feel. Like, this is where we relate at, because you look at things like you're giving your time to so many other things and people, and I'm right here, right?
yeah,
It's like, what, and that's where the self value comes in. You about to make me tear up, Brody. That's where the self value comes in, and that's where I take accountability so much, because it's like what I do. Like, I'm just a
yeah,
kid. Like, what I do, everything. And for me, I can't say that was you, but that was me. Now everything is my fault now, right? So you're not. And then this is the crazy thing with parents. You now making me feel like you don't even want to be in your own house because of me. That's how I'm taking it. So you push me off the ground.
damn,
What you
yep,
doing? What you doing over here? Like, and the funny thing about that, as we learn when we get older, like sometimes you don't know this shit, but you know it. Parents need breaks too.
and I do
They don't
understand that now.
now, but I tell E that because he's old enough to understand it, but I wouldn't tell that to my 5-year-old. I literally just posted this. I'd be sick of all of them. My wife, both of my kids, individually, when they come up to me and his daddy, and then when they all come in there, like, and like, I'm not dumb. They're all tired of me sometimes too, individually and together. But as parents, we feel like it's our duty to always be around. But then I know dads like this. I can't speak for moms. Dad gonna get his time,
Yeah,
right?
he ain't
And
gonna get no.
he gonna get his time, and I respect him for that. But I also want to point out that our dad, both his parents, had been gone before he was 18. Was it 19? Before he was
I
19
think
years
before he
old.
was 19. Yep.
Because I know granddad had passed like a month before I was born, and mom's had already been passed, I believe.
Oh,
But
damn, I didn't know that.
yeah, at least I'm just to be matter of fact, I want to say 20, but I think that's even pushing it. Both dad's parents were God rest their soul. They were both gone before he was 20 years old. So I'm saying that because it's the context that I didn't know as a kid when I felt like you.
Same.
How does he find this type of thing out? And even I talk to him now about grandparents, Julia's grandparents, my grandparents too, but they're his mom's parents. Like, how highly he looks at them. There's a different connection with that because those were technically his parents,
But he
right?
won't ever call him.
He won't. He won't. He
Yep.
said, I think he took one of my phrases. You could do what you do, but because I call his mom, I call her mom, Ma Dukes. My mother-in-law, I call her mom. Like, there is no difference. I don't like that. For me, I'm old school in a sense, but I'm very, very particular with the choice of words.
Not in a sense.
So with that said, we were talking at the table, and he was like, they're not my parents, and again, context. If you said that and I didn't understand that both of your parents were dead at 12, I mean at 20, then it would be like, dang, why you being so hard? But
Mm-hmm.
when you get that context, you understand it. Like, man, there is nobody that could be my mom or my dad, because I didn't have them. And again, this
Mm-hmm.
is where we all have an understanding. There was times that I thought it was worse. I wanted my dad, and he was across the maybe 5 miles away, right? But as I got on older, I understood. Going back to your point, sorry, going back to your point, he was doing things that had nothing to do with me, and it wasn't nothing bad, right?
Yep.
He just needed whatever he needed. And then for them, did you, I guess we can wrap it up here. Did you ever talk to moms and pops about that abandonment?
I did actually. Like that's actually what started them being more. I can't remember the stage this happened, but I don't even know where I was at with this, where I was at in my healing process with this, but maybe it'll come back to me eventually. But yeah, when I talk to them about it, that's where I told my mom like I always felt like a bother to y'all. I always felt like I was an inconvenience. And so, I would always get in trouble. And they was like, you wasn't really a bad kid. You would just act out. And I was no, because I was seeking for attention. And they would moms was like, you wasn't a nuisance. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like she apologized, said she's sorry if she ever made you if she's ever made me feel like a bother. And she was like, that was never her intentions. It was kind of like you said, some days she just needed a break. And, I would, this is where I understand myself. I was a curious kid. So I was always looking to understand or figure out something. I was always needing to be stimulated. And for them, that was a lot. For, how dad is, like, sit down, you're going to get whooped. Like, be still, you know what I'm saying? And it's so crazy because narrative therapy is so narrative story and the philosophy is so real because he will swear he did not whoop me that much. And I'm like, I know I got that ass tapped a lot of times. Like I just know for a fact.
You know
And me
why
and Courtney talk about it.
you know why he does it or he says it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because my mom does it, not with whoopings. Everybody, just disclaimer: I was the good kid. When we talk about the kids, I was the good kid. I ain't get in trouble.
And nigga even put his hands up like he was.
I didn't get no whoopings. I was scared. I was a very scary kid too, though. So, but we ain't gonna get into that. But my mom does that about certain things. Like they're in denial to a certain degree, but they're also in the now. I think Julius says something that I think is super dope. He helped me understand it. He's like, man, when y'all become parents, y'all forget that y'all was kids. You forget you was a teenager, and grandparents forget that they were parents, right? At this point in their life, he wouldn't whoop you as much, so he's putting that on old stuff. I couldn't have did it. Yeah, you did. I ain't forget.
Hey, that's so. Hey, James, bro, I can't wait till we do our session on accountability, dog, because that's so insane to be like me now wouldn't do it. Yeah, so I talked with Courtney too, about like the bullying and shit and like how it really led to myself, like lack of self esteem and how it led to my low ego and things like that. And she apologized and we had a breakdown session too. We cried, and then me and Pops, we how did me and Pops talk? I don't know. I think me and Pops just gradually started talking about things like in a weight room, we'd talk about stuff. For him, I understand. So for each different person, this is a good therapy moment that I like to share a little tad bit, little tidbit. Um, you have to understand what you want from the situation because you can't just go into the conversation expecting the other person to lead it when you want something from them. So for me, I knew I wanted an apology. I knew I wanted some resolution or I knew I wanted to be heard. And so for like my mom, I knew I wanted an apology. For my sister, I knew I wanted an apology and to be heard. And for my dad, I knew I wanted to understand because I didn't get him. I didn't get how to talk to him. I didn't get how to approach him with conversations of these things because he's very short. He's very stoic. He'd just be like, that's just a bada bada bada. And, and it's like, man, listen, like, yeah, like,
Just
bro,
take
like
care of.
I'm like James here. Like I had no like James. He calls it the best answer. For him, I had no patience for any other answer than something that sounded like I can grab onto. And so I had to check myself before going into those conversations with him. I had to understand, look, I gotta go and accept whatever answer he's giving me because this is a start to the conversation. Now I got something to build on. And so gradually it started opening him up to start telling me things and opening up. And then we started talking more about the Bible and growing there. And now we've been like, we haven't done it maybe for a month, but we've been reading the Bible on the Sabbath together, Friday, sundown, or Saturday, sundown. and we've been able to kind of grow. Yeah, and it's been real dope because he'd be asking questions that he felt like he wanted to ask churches or the pastors, but like judgment and things like that, and people not listening, and people worrying about what he gonna say and how he gonna say it versus what he's trying to say. And so understanding the way that I had to approach him really changed our dynamic because going into, and I think, no, not I think, I know, all praises to the Most High, sending my big brother James. He taught me this through a work problem that I had. Somebody was on some bullshit. We get into that later down the line. But then he was like, look, don't go in there talking too much. Go in there asking questions. Get understanding of where they at and what they know, and then you proceed to talk. Because he gave me a tad bit that I'm like, I'm good on the fly. I'm good with my words. I'm good with talking. And I can talk. That can be a bad thing too, because I can talk myself into a position I don't need to be in because I didn't take a moment and listen, and I didn't try to understand and ask questions first. And you know where else he taught me that? I don't know if you remember this. You taught me that with my coach. That was another place. You said don't go in there trying to prove something. Go in there trying to listen to him. Let him talk himself into a place where you like, okay, this is where I can jump in at. And that was really helpful because it allowed me to understand people who are assertive. You don't have to necessarily, like, I'm not an assertive communicator. James is. I'm more of a, I conform to the situation. So if I need to get aggressive, I can, but assertive was always like that gray area for me because assertive always felt rude. And our dad taught us that. And but he's assertive. So it's like nigga, you doing what you don't want us to do. And he but then that's where the line of I'm your father comes in. So typically people who have power do that over you. I'm your coach, I can do that. I'm your father, I'm your teacher, I'm your principal, I'm your boss. James taught me how to shortcut that. Okay, I can still be respectful and get what I need to say across by getting you to say what you need to. I be trying to get this nigga to play chess, but he will not do it. And I feel like once he learned it and love it, he'll enjoy it. But
We
he won't
just
do it.
we just don't we haven't had time to sit down and learn a level of it for maybe an hour without kind of getting into something else. Like I just want to
We
be
could do
locked
it on
in.
here. We could
We
do it
ain't
on
do,
Zoom
yeah, we ain't
for a
doing it.
session.
Because I'm about to leave. But I do want to say rest in peace to Grandpa Howard, as he was married to my grandma Cookie, and he tried to teach me back in high school too. And this is not nothing I'm running from. I just want to really give it the time the way that I hear people talk about it. But there was something that you said that I wanted to add to. I want to call that the Snoop and Chris theory. The reason why I say that is because when they were training, was it Mike? I know that's was it
You
Mike?
talking about your boy Mike? Yeah,
Yeah.
light skin,
Shout
little
out
hitter.
Shouts out to Mac Wild's his name in real life. I was supposed to work with him doing music. Throw that in there. I don't know if that matters or anything. Met him at a Grammy party, you know. But anyway,
Oh shit.
but they were basically teaching him to be where he was supposed to be ahead of time. So it's like if I tell you to be here, meet me here at 10, I'm gonna get there at 9:50 to look at you when you get there. So now
Mhm.
I'm more prepared than you are because I'm looking at your
Yeah,
move. Now that was some street stuff, but it's the same mentality. It's like, hey, let me let you show your whole hand. So now I can operate how I want to. But if I get
yeah.
to talking too much, then now we kind of even, or you know more of me. Oh, this dude talk too much. He don't know
S-
anything, you know.
Snoop and Chris theory.
Snoop and Chris theory.
I
That
like that. That should be the title of the episode.
figured. Oh, I
That
like
should be
that.
the title of the episode, the Snoop and Chris theory. And it
Uh,
all led up to how to it all leads up to how to think critically. That's what it all leads up to. Our first episode.
okay, okay, yeah, no brotherly love, unbrotherly love. I like that better. I think that's catchy.
Oh, damn, I forgot about Unbrotherly Love too.
We'll use that somewhere else. Uh,
Okay.
we're gonna wrap this up. As always, Brody, this is regular convo. If you know me, I'm sending 5 minute audios, 12 minutes. You know, I got enough to go around. And
Hey, one of these times we gonna open these up for Q&As. We gonna invite people in to drop some questions in the Zoom, and we can answer them about life. I like what you.
yeah,
I was thinking about that.
we definitely gonna be charging y'all for that. So don't worry.
I like it.
Couple practice runs where you know it's free and all, but again, brother is a certified therapist, and I like to say that I'm uncertified, but I should be paid for what I do because I kind of do what he do in school. And then you know what? Let me shout this out too before we leave. We do have relaxation music, right? And we'll have more as well too. So I'll make sure I post that. But we're really this we have fun with this, but this is really something that we do on a day to day and we enjoy. So, even though he's working with all types of people, I'm in the schools working with the kids. And we literally do working on mental therapy, mental health, breathing, attention span, all of these types of things that we talk about. Of course, it's a different approach, very much kid friendly. But appreciate your time, Brody. Anything else you got?
I just want to shout out my brother, man. We wouldn't be here without him. All praises to the Most High for sending him, because I'm telling y'all, this podcast, whatever this seminar, whatever y'all want to call this thing, it's gonna get started all because he got it started. And so we'll see y'all next Tuesday. Thank y'all for taking the time to listen. You said what?
We.
Yeah, we'll see y'all next Tuesday.
No. We got this started, not me. We're gonna have this problem every podcast because somebody always don't want to take the credit, and I gotta be the one to give it to them. But
This is the Heart of the Community with Jew and Jay.
this is the Heart of the Community with Jay and Jew. Peace.
Peace out, brother.
Now that was old. Peace out, brother.